for high GC News, Mema Ubibia Aquaba, Hadia latest hot and Eramini Bremo. And Uti Sunya subscribe to channel idea, Bomodia say over subscribe. Gabby had say over click a year the subscribe button, you know. Na wabele notification, we had a video for free be upload no when the first person was Ebeka a year sa video. Afi we are na like video no give us a thumbs up na fi share my or for so na when you be here na wo ensem dodo na ra ekoso ewo Ghana memo anum afi tentemo imbura ye ensem a abeto yepuno so mo yiti eye sa report ya ababetu dwa mo yiti sase
na ensem we ye kwa we ye enye more especially because maybe I was a victim and the title of the case is Golden Age Company Limited versus Nana Obribwa. Golden Age Company Limited versus Nana Obribwa. I petitioned the then Chief Justice said, Supreme Court Judge beat the case in the so. Maatu Sabara Wade Adamudiye. The committee sat. That was I think 2020 or 2021. I bet the committee no report to number. You know, me and my personal experience. So, the Supreme Court of Ghana, 4 judges who sat. Okay, I say, hearing notice, I had a Felix Obribwa. At the say, I had a Nana Obribwa. What to be that? Supreme Court of Ghana, the highest court of the land. The lawyer withdrew as a lawyer, no, you know, Mammy, July 2020, of filing notice of withdrawal of legal representation. But by 2022, Supreme Court on my judgment, you know, but Obribwa is being represented by Foster Kwesi. Me, the uncle told to me, no, Cremier, the same intentia, Coptentia, Yabuya, Tango Ghana, and Yagana, young fire and Muyeti. Young fire and Muyeti. Me, not me, come a client in the case. Me, I'm a personal case. And I have the boldness to petition the then Chief Justice. The committee sat with the Madame to 4 calls. Papa, I got it from one born, no, one resign, one recruiting who, or something I said, so the beyond is so, but give me cost of 35,350 million in 2022. Money bear no. Just give me some more born, no, it is Uncle Yobia, or you're not going to come in, or so yamming, or you're not going to come in, or so yamming, or Bunu. Don't respect the judicial system. Can you other counsel make a case in the maintenance? And yet the man sat on it. That was the level of rottenness. Then we are judiciary in a codru. Now be again in so Bribuahina, Atono, on Konako, one will never be a baby. So be the way I abano. Near Jamahama, make us a Jamahama, we are bronsam. None your Torkornoo, so you make us a Torkornoo, we are bronsam. But I'm telling you, the dean. Because I've been a victim. Hearing notice served on Felix Obribwa. Hearing notice served on Anno Obribwa.
Wow, it was a victim.
Yes. Now, I'm Supreme Court the case and I'm a coin and I'm a victim. I'm a coin cost 35,000. Hearing notice, I'm friends of women. Judge and I'm born in Kweku. Or that's a sign of threat. Only when you were on new Friday. And this.
Na sa 35,000 na ye dia some property na obi na akwaji ana de ben nana dano kakra yente nana dano kakra
okay
emuye na u cheche kai no 35,000 de e baaye na u cheche nana no
ya mami ya committee chief just set up committee Mako, the witnesses in everything and the coin. We were cross examined. The Supreme Court judge also testified. He was cross examined. But I won't call Mobet Yankan. I bet you know Yankan. You know, I said that African was Supreme Court to Bawumia. That is Ghana for you.
No. Sika in question, no. Sika if you want the call one on any Paco Kutuyama, why say ye dear?
Nobody yet, 70.
Oh, now what case I had a court set you at 35,000.
Hey, now you catch what? You case to do a Kumasi. Case case me yano kumase. Judge na as you are talking now, no. Judge na the cost 4 billion. 4 billion. Kumase High Court.
Ama why?
Wajama saying the other side no 4 billion. Me lawyer na me dem dinam keke no. Me kwa wajin cost 40,400 million. Me.
So why then?
My baby says it tells you the level of rot. It tells you the level of rot which we are going through at the hands of some of the judges.
CJ Torkonoo sues government over suspension. Wants 2 judges restrained. Sa and a daily guide area about was I was suspended no Chief Justice CJ Torkonoo was sue buying say ne suspension no na nam ekwem and I was 2 justices judges so one more committee no so no near maybe yenyi wa mu emfiri so but my main favorite point is say 146 amampani dia ye dwuma no nipa bia argue say enam say onye legal officer intino enka there should be an CI and a legal instrument be legal instrument be a guiding the process of removing or otherwise of the Chief Justice. Now Obiswa court to say it must be read with the 289 or so. It must be read together. Obiswa argument is say mo pesa mo kasa dia and the constitution mu na mo sano because constitution is say the second petition per the person want to article 146 no one fan comma council of state. Ebi argument is say council of state ni mampanino wamunye legal persons to establish prima facie I bet me at home committee these legal arguments no it's saying any day what you who see or see what buying over suspension.
Oh it's just for no I will be an constitutional legal right court obia the constitutional and legal right. Provide a be a case, you know, a wuya, and a case, you know, immoral. Now, see that's a swako court. On team. The BBN sin quarry. Suspended Chief Justice on team in court. Bibia and sin quarry say all your motion say my judge for being bentina not Samson. Bibia and sin quarry. You have the right. But so be qua I'll be ya and so be tumno and so ya for. Now Junction now call on no. Or man young to me. I'm told, and I read it somewhere because Ninyanya Fuing, I read somewhere. Say, now, I say the acting city, and then just a poor man or more interesting room. And I'm told, and I read it somewhere. Say, Omukuracha say, Obiahu, say, or more, and a petitioner, sleeping lawyers, I could debate. As for no mean come into detail because a seasoned lawyer no this minya full facts no antana my bet me kind for us to know something. So Otimiko Attorney General Timiko defended Godfrey Damon Timi the court. Obia Tim the court is the constitutional. But no antana yet to us. My personal view. These happenings, I am not comfortable at all. These happenings.
Not comfortable as in what?
Okay.
Not comfortable as in what?
Sir, a petitioner, she been the petition I am ra. But the man Council of State Mra. Council of State, Tenaso, former Chief Justice CBC, Media, may as men to be. Yaboy Chiraba. President are suspended. President suspended Amanda Court. Injunction. Judge Bakubia Martin Bero Yare. The show Yare. but to ashada adia president not committee judge na no yare no but be a member of that committee no nano Markin can say what a committee no cry yesi no because shia baby enya court complex then your Supreme Court conference hall wherever because shia baby national security one of the officers. And you see, these things it doesn't give a good picture of us. Men can say President Mahamadu Bawumia, men can say Torkornoo Bawumia. Ebia President Mahamadu is cracking the ship. Ebia he's cracking the ship. Tenye ye ebeto ye. Ebia President Mahamadu is cracking the ship. Senye pepe ebeye pepe. So for me, I'm not doing politics. I am doing near Ghana Nibia objective-minded Ghanaian ebeye. Min kase NPP for better. So I didn't about suspend the name here for so. Min kase auto. Min kase say NDC for so better. But they are suspended and they are suspended. Until you to min kase auto. I should approach the issue with objectivity. Shaha tia. And didn't make us a copa saying, no, Nadia, may I am a debt. Because if you look at the judiciary, man, some way up and we are and yet, more especially because maybe I was a victim. And the title of the case is a Golden Age Company Limited versus Nana Obribwa. Golden Age Company Limited versus Nana Obribwa. I petitioned the then Chief Justice said, Supreme Court Judge beat the case in the so. Master Sabara Waje Adamutie. The committee is sat. That was I think 2020 or 2021. I bet in the committee no report to number. You know, me I'm a personal experience. So the Supreme Court of Ghana, 4 judges who sat. Okay, I say, hearing notice, I had asked Felix Obribwa. At the say, I had asked Nana Obribwa. What to be that? Supreme Court of Ghana, the highest court of the land. The lawyer withdrew as a lawyer, no Mame, July 2020, of filing notice of withdrawal of legal representation. But by 2022, Supreme Court of my judgment, but Obribwa is being represented by Foster Kwesi. Me, the Uncle told me to say, no, Cremier, the same intentia, Coptentia, Yabuya, Tango Ghana, and Yagana, young fire and Muyeti. Young fire and Muyeti. Me, not me, come a client in the case. Me, I'm a personal case. And I have the boldness to petition the then Chief Justice. The committee sat with the Madame to 4 calls. Papa, I got it from one born, no, one resign, one recruiting who, or something I said, so the BM is for, but give me cost of 35,350 million in 2022. Money ban, no. Yeah, give me some more born, no. It is Uncle Yobia, or you're not going to come in, or so yamming. Or you're not going to come in, or so yamming, or Bunuho. Don't respect the judicial system. Can you other counsel make a case in the maintenance? And yet the man sat on it. That was the level of rottenness. Then, we are judiciary in a codru. Now, be again in so Bribuahina, Atono, on Konako, one will never be a babydrew. So, be where you are, Bano. Near Jamahama, make us a Jamahama, we are Bronsam. None your Torkornoo, so you make us a Torkornoo, we are Bronsam. But I'm telling you, Bedin. Because I've been a victim. Hearing notice served on Felix Obribwa. Hearing notice served on Obribwa.
Wow, you are a victim.
Yes. Now, I'm Supreme Court the case and I'm a coin and I'm a victim. I'm a coin, cost 35,000. Hearing notice, I'm first of woman. Judge and I'm born in Kwabena. Or that's a song to that. Only when you or new Fadia. And this
now, 35,000. Na ye di asem property na obi na akọji ana de be Nana dano kakra yente. Nana dano kakra.
Okay.
Ah, muye. Na u cheche kai no 35,000 there e buy. Ah, na u cheche.
Because yes.
Nana no.
Your mommy, your committee, chief justice set up committee. Mako. Me witness singing fishing and koi. We were cross-examined. The Supreme Court judge also testified. He was cross-examined. But I'm on call, move back to Yankan. I bet you know you're being kind. You know why I'm better. Africa was Supreme Court to Bawumia. That is Ghana for you.
No. Say Sika in question. No. Sika, if you want the call one. Nani pakro kutuama hwan say ye die. Oh. Now what case I dey court set you at 35,000.
Hey. Na me okay here. What ya me ya case bi Okumase. Case na me ya no Okumase. Judge na as you are talking now no. Judge na the cost 4 billion. 4 billion. Kumase High Court.
Ama why
Wajama saying the other side 4 billion. Me lawyer now me dem dinam keke no. Me kwa waje cost 40,400 million. Me
so why day?
My own baby says it tells you the level of rot. It tells you the level of rot which we are going through at the hands of some of the judges.
Eti meba your upon your client's instructions and I would did duma it me judge me lawyer na me give mama me client no me wa do cost to am said ye.
Oh, I will see anwa. In fact, on 4 December 2024, na me Aremeyaw court me the excuse duty koi na motion be pending me the medical form so koi 4 December 2024 in motion na ma file no judge ni twam sign the cost of 200 million tiame personally.
Me ba cho me bo papa me cancel for this person enna me hododo me na mama no me pa cho me nya witness a witness kwa would me for so no enna me nya party to the case. I'm only cancel for the clients. Wow, the cost to me say I mean muna munimum raw eno e wan fa.
You know, you see, say Ebia, you do stage B. Ebia motion no yet. And you cry, this is yes, motion you're filing, now file the crown. Extreme cases, then the judge will award a cost against the lawyer. Extreme cases. Where the judge will award cost against the lawyer, on fact, cost should be in here. Clients, because a lawyer, but in my case, me yare motion pending. Now the crack ako. Dr. Namami activity. That was on 4 December 2024. In fact, that was the case. I've even petitioned. I filed a motion on notice. Said the judge should recuse himself. Judge na odias and my filing motion air pending. So on recusal. And that motion, we served the then Chief Justice Torkonoo with a copy of the motion. We served the Chief Justice, the judge, High Court Judge, Okumas, on recusal.
Meet you.
Every we stand and say, yes, Chief Justice Torkonoo. The Chief Justice has been served through the Judicial Secretary. Can directives from the Chief Justice. This judge in Kumasi didn't bother. He went ahead. Even now we stand and say, maybe medical, I agree that the principle of law is adjustment to the lawyer. But we just mentia me yare. Mentia me yare. Judge no say on farm motion will come. Or the cost. ATM 20,000. Earlier I know what's not about 20,000. It was given 40,000. The clients also were give 4 billion, 400,000, 4 billion. But yeah, because we can answer one.
you know. Obi Bebu says under whose watch?
Under the watch of Chief Justice.
Wow.
Yes, because under the watch of Chief Justice, say now our Kumasono, I get the motion coin. I get the course of the Christian. Say, Osuro Chief Justice now. So Osuro no. And I'll give it to about twice of kind of correct. What in the chance?
Let us say.
So you said Chief Justice is a strict disciplinarian. So I cannot case in this one. Well, you are. No, but some continents are another.
No, correct.
So, me a couple of minutes, I'm saying, because about 100 lawyers, and they will tell you, sir, in as much some of the judges are good, some of them are poor. Acting Chief Justice Bafuboni was talking about lawyers now, call them to the bar and say they should not be commercializing the practice. Yes, I agree. But I was expecting Bafuboni to have gone further to advise judges to say, judges so make a way when you have your Benekamo, who took my money for no treasure and waffle. Was commercialize it, you know. So a lot of people in Ghana, with due respect, don't have enough confidence in the judiciary in both Ghana and Nigeria. And that is the situation we find ourselves. That is where we got into. Me and me that baby I'm from me and the castle. The way a baby he cries, Samau Kuran Kabinum Pay. Samau Kuran Kabinum Pay. But I am not correct. So what is that? A Lotejo Kosako Casa. Ghana hanging no California me and Obribuahin as Anito Rollins and Dr. Bawumia. Only when they say the whole country Ghana no Obribuahin Kwana no Kotkani. So Chief Justice Asama Ebe, yeah, what the legal fraternity no. Bebre Yasu, Bebre follow. So what was that platform Bebre Shua? Who is some Bebre? Now, few lawyers may be extremely worried about what is happening. Why? Because you know from Nyatu Hunu and Yansam Papa. So to some of the lawyers, they think that Mahamad is just cracking the ship. Mahamad and yes. Only to some other lawyers, they say, Mahamad, Jaway, Janyawayan, Jaway, Nyawayan, and yet a pobo at his ship. It's now open to that. Me, everyone, Robinson, me, natural mechanic, say, to baby, but a cum, Corona, coming to baby, coffee to baby. Me, a friend coffee to baby. Coffee men penny wessom. No, because, and yet, and key, send me a question on Obi Samia. Near me, transfer. I quote forward cross it, Mrs. Mrs. Because I don't see how I should. What my no shower and why been in a mature me, Mom, your catcher, young Mamma Hammer, Murabudia, young Monudia, send your oil me Monudia. Because to a certain extent, any Yamafamu, I think Mahama is cracking the ship. Now, catch them to say, to say,
NBC. Let's say, I'll bring some sanity into the judicial system.
No, I think he's cracking the ship. Some guys say he's cracking the ship. It means that look, it looks like Mahama wants to inject sanity. What did he say, Kay?
Bawamanyo ko NPP. Aye ho a demonstration kwa say over the removal of the Chief Justice. Now what did you say?
It is the constitutional and legal right. Call me wo. If I demonstration mean to me kasa nearby no betty. Mean to me kasa. It will be wrong for me. I'm a member of the party. Mean to me kasa. But look at some mean to see about to me young demonstration. So Minko.
Okay.
I will not condemn NPP for because I belong to that group. Let me come home. I lawyer for the General Chief Justice, suspended Chief Justice, Piaya Boy and Ego for them and for. We share a lot of things in common. Me Baba so, I wish them well. But Yantinsi Krominko. Because you told me the case was Supreme Court. The BPR, no, was discipline in the system. Because Supreme Court judge, me yes, better work with the pride. But you are to force by him. And Kaonu Krabeka said, mention a case in so. And yet, this man sat on the matter because on Sro Bia, on Freddy Bia, on Mu Bia, on Bia Trin kind of share. It's your transfer. Now, for some judge, we are operating Supreme Court judge for more than 10 years. The number of judgments are delivered. I mean, before then, I have bracing. I don't know before I have bracing. Not inflicted. When you have a situation, and you have bread before. Na man and my companion and cry, na matisha send you be die home. Near go gota, near bread. Discipline. A full leadership. Discipline. Like a baby, a discipline. And can that kids that Supreme Court judge because okay. And you're not indication in my free show. One free show because the panic is very new. I don't know where you my own free show can have permission. But he sat on the matter.
Okay.
Committee no report to a copy of the call retirement. And the people in Canberra of the Casa and Pay. You know what can I pay? You may church or one or pay. You man for more ten and pay. You man for Atom court. You man for Atom Babinu. Opa, Uria, 14. For me time, the minimum for 14. So, Bribery answer more care. Are they not sick and tired of some of the judges? And people will tell you, so from district court to Supreme Court, Ghana for you sick and tired.
Okay, Nana.
I've come back.
But me no say.
Other issue, so judgment was obtained by recourse to fraud. Judgment was obtained by recourse to fraud. Judge said that I have my judgment, no man for Sunio. No man for Sound at the hospital. And one other there offer me and crying you over. So you done a judgment in man for some pencil. Golden age limit versus no everyone. And those who want to write long essays and theses in Ghana, long essay and thesis.
Martin, Nana.
If you want investors to come and invest in this country, Africa, you better come here when
Nana
Manasa for me.
Nana, Mamma was a pay.
Niamana question I say Chief Justice Adiko Court. Remember in the constitutional and legal right. I wish you well. I didn't about for Bonnie. Only from not only from say. Go and read the decision in Scándal versus the Attorney General. Or the Ghana Bar Association versus Aban. Kopekane. Give them to us. If we not come from Kofi to baby. With baby. No, we are not comfortable. We are not comfortable. Kumasi, Jaja, just motion, Kakaba when you've awarded cost of 4 billion. 4 billion. Yeah, this is president or the car retirement too.
But what appeal to the decision? What appeal to the decision?
Yes, I appealed and I filed a stay at the Court of Appeal. And it is pending at the Court of Appeal, Kumasi.
Okay. Mami Nawasi.
Okay, alright. I said now about the hair. Yeah, objective minded Ghanaians. Me no say to could be money that can. And yes, I out from here. Me need the Mahamadu come back. Perhaps some case of Western. Perhaps he wants to crack the inject sanity. Mahamadu on your bonnet. Torkornoo so Philisa. Also image to protect. It's also a cockot. Torkornoo so your bonnet. But the middle giant answer. The bottom line is that a good number of Ghanaians feel that your judges in the Bebre Singer. So, and promotion of judges, or Musa Ghana Bar Association. Copa Association judges in a Quadrumanda. Now, I say, President never promote you, Judiciary Council never promote you. Because a woman, Chief Justice, Tim Carter, President. Court of Appeal judges with me, number possible. Oh, yes, I will be engineer. When Torkonoo did that, nobody complained. This is a main corner from this framing. No can say where you can ye. Mekan against Ufono. The D matter. What was that? Yes.
Mamma, now I say, I'm a
what president I can show my winumra. No Bafubon in Numjatu, what Saline woman, Tanko Nunto, Kulendi Numto, what Saline line woman. Afenyo di asamba ni be ya afesi se ni bi obekasa aye tie bi hu amuka se tie entie
We have Martin Pebu, who is on a mission this morning. He has an activity to undertake, so we quickly just want to deal with him so that he can go off the stream, and then we'll come back to the studio. And Martin Pebu, now that it is the Chief Justice herself who is the plaintiff, and you look at what she's seeking from the court, what does that then tell you directly in relation to the position she holds on this very matter of her suspension and subsequently the probe that's being undertaken by the committee?
Good. So, number one, it's a sign that she has confidence in the judicial system, okay, or the judiciary to give her justice. Yes, it's a very strong signal that she has confidence that her colleagues on the Supreme Court bench would give her justice. Because if she didn't, she probably wouldn't have gone at all. I was tempted to say she would have gone to the book, but forgive me, let me not even complete it. So the fact that she's going to court, right, it's a strong sign that she believes that the system will give her justice. So because of that, I mean, let's grant her, it's a constitutional right. And indeed, you find in Article 125 of the Constitution that justice emanates from the people. So the people give justice, and so when they have issues, they have grievances, they also will go to the court to ventilate their claims. So it's okay. The only thing is that the optics are very bad in her choice of Godfrey Dame as lawyer. It's terrible. I mean, I can't believe it. People had made comments earlier on, so I thought the Chief Justice would have taken a cue. You know?
Why?
Dame was in this Japa tape, did a lot of unethical things in the Japa tape, was suborning witnesses, coaching a witness to go and lie to the court, asking the witness to get a fake medical report, you know, saying that Akufo Addo and Ofori were on his neck to use the judicial system to prosecute Ato Forson and Japa. All right, so that's persecution, using the judicial system for their own political ends, everything. And the tape is official. It was admitted in evidence in court. So for the rest of Godfrey Dame's life, that tape is him. Whether the case goes to the General Legal Counsel or not, whether he is found liable or not, the judge, Justice Efia Sewa Asare, admitted the tape as authentic. So for a lawyer who has done such a thing, and many lawyers are saying he should be sanctioned by the General Legal Counsel, and yet he has so far escaped it, the Chief Justice choosing Godfrey Dame as a lawyer begins to raise a lot of suspicions. We are like, okay, so is it because of the alliance that Godfrey Dame didn't appear for the General Legal Counsel, that Godfrey Dame has not been sanctioned? She should have seen all of that. All of that. I mean, and look, trust me, Mr. Walker, other things will come up. Other news and information will come up that will make this choice more terrible than it already appears. So the best for the Chief Justice to do is to disengage Godfrey Dame. Godfrey Dame leading her in this case is a terrible engagement. It's a very terrible one. Look, there are other things that, as I said, I will hold my horses. But this is not on. Godfrey Dame has to be disengaged. You see, for Godfrey Dame, this case is also serving as a rehabilitation for him. You know, because of the terrible things he did in the Japa tape, he thinks by coming to court, wading into these conversations, and people talking about it, after a while, we will stop talking about the Japa tape. But it's a lie. We will not stop talking about that Japa tape until Godfrey Dame is sanctioned by the... General Legal, that is the disciplinary committee of the General Legal Council. So it's like that's the court where lawyers who breach their ethics are sanctioned. So once the tape has been admitted, the tape is been shown to be authentic, Godfrey Dami must face justice for those things. So he thinks by taking on these cases and by being the center of public attention, comments, etc., very soon people will start talking about the tape. It won't stop. So he better just prepare to face justice. So this is what I can say in terms of the situation so far.
Looking at how the Supreme Court has dealt with the previous suits or petitions, so to speak, in relation to this subject matter, and then subsequently the suspension, the processes in all, do you think there's any merit in this current one at all by the Chief Justice herself?
Okay, so this has been asked, Mr. Walker, this one, you know, because of the issues of contempt. Right now, our society is doing better. We are commenting more. So we are narrowing down the borders of contempt. But this one is too direct. It's too direct. So
you mean my question? My question is direct.
I say too direct, too near the contempt matters.
Okay.
I'm not allowed to say that. I don't think.
All right. So let me perhaps rephrase my question then, so that we make it more of a public discourse. If you take a look at the public opinion that seemed to have greeted, or the public opinion that had been elicited as a result of the last 3 dismissed cases in relation to the subject matter so far, why do you think the public opinion seemed not to favor the Chief Justice?
Okay, good. Yes, that's a brilliant question. You're a wise man. Good. Now, public opinion doesn't appear to favor her because of what people have read in the petitions, and most especially to you know, the case involving the Speaker of Parliament, Afenyo Markin's case against the Speaker of Parliament. You know that case, when we analyzed it, we saw that the Chief Justice chairing the panel, presiding in that panel, rushed the case too much, that he raised too many suspicions. So you see, she lost a lot of, what do you call it, confidence. People lost a lot of confidence in her from the manner in which she treated the Speaker, the removal of the 4 parliamentarians case. That's Afenyo Markin versus the Speaker case. So, you know, it just, and you see even, I think Shamima Muslim referred to it. There were parts of the case where she appeared too aggressive, etc. So that was the beginning of her fall. That's the beginning of the fall. Because you see, human beings, yes, the citizens may not be lawyers, but they are not stupid. They can see where you aggress a lawyer and do other things openly. You know, they tell that a picture is worth 1,000 words. They can see. They can see. So I think that is the case that, I mean, really is fueling the lot of public disfavor, the lot of lack of support for a cause. Because you saw the polls Musa Dankwa did, where 52% of Ghanaians said that she be removed, and only 18% opposed it. I think you can check the figure. Yeah, not more than 20.
53.
Now, those who go ahead.
53%, and then about 20%. But however, he did say that among the NPP, the majority of them, by way of the respondents who are politically aligned to the NPP or the opposition, they over 80% or about 80%, so to speak.
Yes, that one is to be expected because, you know, look, let's not hide this. Appointment as Chief Justice is a political appointment, right? And politicians are known to choose their friends. Politicians don't choose their enemies generally. Generally, they don't choose enemies, okay? Or they don't choose neutrals generally, all right? So they will choose people they trust any day will have their back. So if 80% of the active NPP people who think that she should not be removed, I understand. It's their opinion, so let's grant them. So as is mentioned, is the case, the speaker case and everything. So citizens have a right to also weigh in. So if they say they are not supporting it, it's unfortunate. It's a lesson to all of us that, hey, the power of the citizen, we have to be very careful. You may have all the power, but it's not every power you exercise. You see, like it's said in 1 Corinthians 6-12, there's that thing about all things, everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. So today you may have power over somebody, but you have to always think about tomorrow. So that when you're dealing with the person, be extremely, careful that, hey, this is what I'm doing today. Is this person likely to, be affected negatively, and so I'm likely to pay for it tomorrow,
Okay, Mr. Kweku.
Yeah.
The last one I'll ask you, there seemed to be the regurgitation or the re-echoing of her comment publicly when addressing, I think it was a women's event or so, that the law is the law, irrespective of, she put it, the noises that will be made. Even though as much noise that will be made, that will be more appropriate. Don't you think that using that quote that she made to be the responsive argument for her not to challenge the ongoing processes is not fair to her?
Oh, absolutely, yes. So it's not fair to her to say that she shouldn't challenge the law. Yes, when she says the law is the law, yes, it also means that, yes, from time to time, if you think that, so when they do an interpretation that favors you, the meaning is that that interpretation was always part of the law, but we didn't know it. You see, the Constitution is language. You see, the Constitution is written this in the English language. Of course, you ask experts and they'll tell you the English language, like any other language, also has its limits. So it's not, you won't always find the perfect word for every situation. Yes, the English language has its own limits. It's not most languages, right? So all I'm saying is that, so you can't find the most perfect word for every situation in the Constitution. So certain phrases and terms in the Constitution don't look like they fit them proper. So, and some to have hidden meanings. Yes, let's make this work. Especially the word fair in Article 19. Fair. It has a lot of hidden meanings. So what I'm saying is that the law is the law. So when the Supreme Court interprets the law or any other court, that new interpretation has always been part of that law. It's not new. So it's okay. Let her challenge the system. But Mr. Walker, what we are working away with, is that our system, through this public debate, eventually will become stronger. The only thing is that in the short term, it's going to create a crisis of confidence, because you are talking about the Chief Justice. So, and then by extension, the judicial system. So it's going to, in the meantime, reduce confidence in the judicial system, because they'll be like, oh, can't we solve the situation? Can't we solve the situation? Why do we allow this to fester? That's why, for me, I keep saying that Chief Justice Torkonoo can help the system by resigning. It will be very beneficial. Yes, it will help us. So that, so that the fight, at least she's fought enough, there's been public debate enough, then, the system can begin to heal.
All right. Thank you very much. The quotation from, is it Corinthians? Please, I want to keep that. What's the quotation again? Do you remember?
Yes, 1 Corinthians 6-12, that area. Everything is permissible, but it's not everything that's beneficial. Everything is permissible. Yes, you have a right, but it's not everything that's beneficial. So sometimes you look at your right and you say, no, I'll walk away because of the interest of the larger majority, the interest of the society, the public interest. I will forgo this, my right.
All right.
So if Chief Justice Torkonoo were to resign, that would be a good application of the principle.
I get your point. But thank you so much. Which church do you attend? Since you've been quoting, because the last time we had a public official quoting was Atta, Bibles on and on. So which church do you attend?
I'm a Catholic. St. Thomas Aquinas, University of Ghana.
All right. Okay. I wish you well, sir. Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Walker.
Yeah.
Good.
Yo, if you win and somewhere about better, you also make out say so. When you subscribe to channel idea, Bomodia say over subscribe. Now, what like video, give us a thumbs up. Now, fee share my waffle frost. So now when you be here now and somewhere also, Ghana memoir. Also, bit me actually wondering if I and somewhere you know, comment box in my next video.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.